Hello, and welcome to the 35th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and the second tallest member of this podcast, Ted Libby. Which is true. If you think about it, Ted, you're right in the middle.
True. Okay.
Because I don't think you're taller than me.
I don't remember. Probably not.
How tall are you?
Yeah.
I don't think
I feel like I'm shrinking.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
Oh, yeah, I'm taller than you.
Yeah.
I'm over 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm what they call a tall man. But I'm like pretty small. I'm like just on the cusp.
Yeah.
You know?
Just tall.
Just tall enough.
You round up.
Not pretty tall.
No. I like to say I'm 6'1", but I'm probably 6 foot. But I like to seem tall.
Just say 6'1".
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, just round up. Just take.
No one's
going
gonna
to
challenge you unless they're 6'1".
Unless they're taller than you. Yeah.
Yeah, then you're like 6'4" person comes, they're like, no, you're 6 foot. It's like, you don't know, you're too tall.
No, 6'4" people think everyone's like 5'11".
Yeah, I had it. My one of my, Parker, my really good friend, 6'5" in college. Everyone thought I was really short. Like they thought I was like 5'9" because I was always next to him. And then like one time there was a party and he wasn't there, and everyone was like, "Are you always like this tall?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm a tall person. Like I'm 6'1". And they're like, "I don't think you're that tall, Jake."
You know it's not good when you have to defend your tall person status.
I am tall.
I got measured at a college party. It was great.
Wow.
But enough about my height, because this is the 35th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning, a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Once a week, we sit down and Skype across 500 miles to talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. Our main topic today is I am reviewing Watch Dogs Legions. Strap in, folks. If you enjoy the show, remember to subscribe, like, and maybe leave a comment, and please, please tell your mother. Please.
Please.
But before we even start with the show, something very important happened this morning. Something that most of our generation has really waited for, you know? On November 7th, 2020, something great happened. BioWare and EA announced the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Your choices, your squad, your shepherd. Relive the legend in this remastered edition of the highly acclaimed trilogy. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition arrives spring 2021. Probably the most important thing happening in the first quarter of 2021 ever.
Yeah.
Nothing will beat it. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition will include single-player-based DLC content and the games of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 with all promo weapons, armors, and packs, and will be remastered and optimized for 4K HDR. BioWare has also...
I've been waiting for this for like 5 days, just anxiety, and now...
I can finally play it.
It's lifted. I feel so much better as of this morning.
Yep, I've been on Twitter just constantly renewing BioWare's little page, seeing what they're going to do on N7 Day. I've been sweating. I'm like, are we going to get the votes for the BioWare edition?
Yes.
It's fantastic. Yes. We got them, folks, and here it is. And then if that wasn't enough, you know what they did? You know the craziest thing they did? BioWare said, you know what? We're giving you those 3 games, but we're also making another one. And if we really trust
putting
BioWare...
Andromeda in there for your benefit?
No, Legendary. They don't talk about that. The BioWare has also confirmed a new Mass Effect game is in development, announced on N7 Day alongside the news of the long-awaited Mass Effect Legendary Edition that will arrive in 2021. The new game will feature a veteran team from BioWare and will be the next chapter in the Mass Effect universe. I'm really sorry that I said veteran a weird way.
Veteran.
Next chapter?
The next chapter. Well, Mass Effect Andromeda, we don't talk about it. I've never even played it.
Forget it. Yeah, forget about all that.
Yeah, that's
destroy it.
It's a game that's like 80 hours long.
Is this remastered or is this just more of the same?
What?
The Mass
Legendary?
Effect. Yeah,
the trilogy?
It's remaster.
It's
like
they're remasters. They're remastered for 4K.
Okay.
They're not remade. They're not
remade.
remade.
We talked about last week.
Yeah, literally.
The remaster.
Okay.
I thought that's why it was important to kind of come back and like, now you guys can play Mass Effect. I would assume that the first game is going to be very much optimized to decrease loading times, because that was a big problem in the first one.
Yeah.
Was like sitting in these, I'm sure you've heard the memes of sitting in the elevators as it loaded the entire floor.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough.
They'll change that, and I'm sure they'll change some of the tank mission stuff to kind of make it flow better. But the meat's in 2, boys, and I'm so excited to play this thing.
I own all of them somehow. I might just play 2 and just be done with it.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 is just fantastic, and you don't really need to play the first one.
Yeah.
I never beat the first one until I had beaten 2, and then I went back and played the first one. I played like halfway through the first one. I was like, this is fine, but kind of annoying. And then the second one, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Went back and played the first one. So,
Yep.
But I'm very excited about Mass Effect, and I figured that was the announcement we needed to make on Saturday.
That's what I wanted to hear this morning.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was the best news this morning.
When I woke up, I was scrolling through. I was like, oh, something else happened, but this is the thing that makes me most excited to be an American. We got it from a Canadian studio.
Yes.
It's perfect. My only thing is the new Mass Effect game kind of worries me, but I'm sure we'll talk about that more.
I think they tried to like say veteran dev team to kind of like assure people like we're gonna go back to our roots. I feel like, because why would they just say veteran dev team? They could just say, hey, we're just working on new Mass Effect.
Yeah, They have a lot of new employees.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
that's the
all
weird
that.
thing.
Well, the thing is, they said that it's like, oh, here we go, another Andromeda.
Or another, what's that game called? Oh, Anthem. I was like, what was that game called? Anthem. I think they're trying to be like, we're not making Anthem. We're making like in our old roots
We're
of
getting
games.
back to the roots, what everyone wants.
So who knows?
We'll see.
We're very
Please.
exciting times.
Please.
That just means that I'm pissed off there's no more Dragon Age.
No, they're making another Dragon Age, Ted.
Oh, they're doing both?
Yeah.
Is it a veteran team?
I don't know. It's probably
I
not
don't
a
know.
veteran team.
No.
Damn.
Bunch of
Then
young
I'm
bucks
pissed
fresh out of
off.
college.
Am I getting a Legendary Edition with all 3 Dragon Age games that we all know and love?
Probably not, because like,
That would be a lot of
do
work.
people really love Dragon Age?
I don't think so.
Some do.
I feel like it's people talk about it, but it's like I've never heard anybody really
First
love
one
it.
was really cool
Mhm.
until I got a game-breaking bug that ruined my save.
Ooh,
And then, and then the second one was different, and that was where I checked
yeah.
out.
Second was like an action RPG that I remember playing, but
Yeah.
not really liking.
And then the third one came out at some point.
Yeah, and that won IGN's Game of the Year that year, which was a weird choice. Everyone's like, really?
Maybe
That game?
we should go back and play that. That might be interesting.
Yeah, you should, Ted.
Maybe
There's-
when
there's
they
a
come
Let's
out for
Play.
new consoles, you know?
Yeah, there's a Let's Play right
That's
there.
what,
We
that's
play
what I'm
through it.
about. I'm about playing old games on new consoles.
Who is it? That's why my second game on the Series S will be Knights of the Old Republic from 2000.
I've been
Very
playing that,
exciting
actually.
times. Are you?
It's on my phone.
Ooh, weird. We're going to talk
Oh.
about that later.
Yeah.
But
I've played
first-
a lot of Star Wars games.
Good.
The top 3, really, I think.
What are your top 3 Star Wars games?
Number 3, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
The series. Number
Okay.
2, you can probably guess, Jedi Fallen Order, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Number 1, try and guess it. What do you think my number 1 Star Wars game is?
Battlefront 2.
That's a good guess.
What are you saying down there? Are you kidding me?
The original Battlefront.
The
2
original
is
Battlefront 2 is really good.
Yeah.
What are you?
Oh, the original Battlefront 2. Okay. I thought
Yeah,
you
not
meant
the
Lego
second
Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
There
Fuck,
we go.
dude, I forgot. Okay, 4 favorite Star
Yeah.
Wars games.
What is your
Alright,
number 1 Star Wars game? Is it the strategy game Empire at War?
Fuck,
Is it-
5 favorite Star
There's
Wars.
great Star Wars games.
Oh, there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Star Wars Racers.
I
pod
was
racers.
gonna say the pod racing.
The
Yeah.
pod racing game is
Yeah, the
came
pod
out on
racing was
Switch, and it runs. It's smooth as butter. It runs super well over there.
I have a question, Ted. Who do you play as when you play as a pod racer?
Dud Bolt.
Can I tell you who I play as?
You play us.
I play as
Anakin.
Saboba. You wanna know why I play as Saboba? Because he always wins. Wow, this is an interesting podcast start, and I love
yeah.
it. I'm curious, James, what's your favorite Star Wars game?
Battlefront 1.
The original?
The
Which
original.
Battlefront one? Okay.
Yeah.
Not the new Battlefront one?
I
Yeah.
played so much of Battlefront 1, just all those like mass scale battles, and it's
Yeah.
just like it was like unlike anything I ever played. And you could like switch between and I just
That
like
game
want
was
to go
great.
back to that. Like I'd spend hours just doing those large scale battles. And
Yeah, I love
Well,
that game so much. I
two
love
was great, but
Two's great. I just
one-
loved Galaxy Conquest in the original one with like out Jedi's.
yes,
You just moving like it was like playing chess or Risk or whatever. It was awesome. Love that. All right, boys. I want to talk to you about a big game that just came out. Watch Dogs Legion. All right.
Mhm.
Just came out on all these big old consoles. It's coming out on next gen as well. And it was a game that was supposed to come out last year, got delayed. Then was going to come out February, got delayed again. And now it's out. So as you know, the game Watch Dogs Legion, it's the big thing is you can play as anybody. And I
Yes.
can tell you for certain, you can play as almost anybody.
almost.
Now,
Do you want to play as almost anybody?
here's the question. Ted texted me earlier this week in our group text, and he said, "How is Watch Dogs Legions?" And my answer was, "I can tell you it is an open world game." That was about all okay. I've played. I'm probably about 10 hours of Watch Dogs Legion. I've had 5 hard crashes. I've had
What are you playing on? By the way?
PS4, PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
I've had 5 hard crashes. Also, every time I try to quit the game and go to the main menu, the game crashes, which is hilarious
It's
to
just
me.
a different way to quit.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
it's
hard
just quitting. You know.
And then every time, I've also noticed a lot of a variety of technical hiccups. All of that excluding, this is a very boring video game.
Oh, no.
And this is the scary thing about open world games that is like so repetitive now that we're just getting so many of these type of games. Where I think Watch Dogs has this very interesting hook, especially the play as anyone thing. Of like everybody's got a name, a job, and they do different things. That being said, nothing that they do is very interesting. It's like maybe they're good at hacking money off people. Well, the money doesn't do anything but buy you clothes. You can't buy guns. You can't buy like any tools or anything. So like there's no real point to have money.
Yeah.
Then there are getaway drivers who like drive cars better, but everybody can drive and just kind of feels the same.
Yeah.
There are people that use drones better, but everybody can use drones. And so it's like, what's the point of using, like, unlocking different dudes? So I've done about 5 or 6 main campaign missions, and the story is like super meh and just cookie cutter numbers. And then I've unlocked every specialty person in London that you can basically, you do like 3 missions on this open world map in each borough that will then unlock a mission to unlock like the specialty unit of that area. Yeah. That being said, there is a beekeeper who is a very interesting character, and he just shoots bees at people, which that's fun.
That's fun.
Like natural bees,
yes, like
not like a drone.
Like she like uses like a sonic. You remember in the Batman Begins where Batman like calls all the bats with this little sonic device?
Yeah.
Basically, you're doing that with bees. So all right.
Okay.
I would say that the coolest part to me with
bees.
Yeah, with bees. The coolest part to me about the game is utilizing different people to like infiltrate stuff. So like you'll get like a construction worker or a Albion is like the security system that's running London now, or you'll get like an agent from them or like of the police, and you can like infiltrate different things using those characters. Or you can just get a construction drone, fly up to the top, and just hover above wherever you're trying to infiltrate and use your drone to get in. So it's like there's one better solution that any character can just do.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you guys have heard about the game, but it's very bland and there's not a lot to do in this open world. There are missions, and maybe you unlock more completing more of the story, but I have not yet. There are story missions. There are borough missions, which are basically like 4 different types that are just randomized, 3 in each area. They're like, infiltrate this, rescue a prisoner, or spray paint this. Or there are boxing matches, bare knuckle boxing fights.
Yeah, classic London.
Classic,
right?
And
classic.
None of the combat is fun. It is just bland. The only thing fun is like kind of droning around, but even that's just like you could be doing other stuff, and then it blows up, and then you have to start the whole thing over again if someone catches you. It's like that kind of stealth of like kind of annoying stealth.
Yeah.
I don't recommend this game at all.
Wow.
In fact, I have looked into the PlayStation refund system because of the technical hurdles that I've had to refund this game, and they have said basically talk to Ubisoft, and Ubisoft has said talk to PlayStation. So you really can't refund it. But it's essentially kind of a broken mess that is like disgusting hiccups. I've had where you infiltrate areas to like rescue NPC prisoners. I've gotten to the point where I rescue them, and then they're supposed to follow me out of the building, and they won't move.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I have to quit out of the game and restart that whole mission. I've had where like driving around in London, you pick up any kind of car, drive it, you talk to the person who starts your mission, the car will then disappear and there will be no cars. So then you either need to fast travel or run to wherever you need to go until you find another car.
Yeah.
It is a mess of a game. I've had like audio drop. My favorite part of this game, though, is that the game takes place in London, which I'm sure they did a great job recreating London. Ubisoft usually does a good job recreating cities. But have you ever played an open world game where you're driving on the opposite side of the road than you're used to?
Oh, interesting.
It threw me off so much.
I didn't think about that.
I'm driving and I'm like on the right side of the road and I'm just like smashing into cars. I was like, oh, we're in London. I got to be on the other side of the road. And then you turn right. It's really weird. Yeah.
Wow. That is it. Yeah.
That was like the biggest hurdle for me mentally of like, this is London. I got to be on this side of the road. Made me think I would not do well in real London driving.
Can you imagine if they implemented though, like a sort of like right hand driving switch? It's like if you're in America, you can make it so it's more comfortable.
I was thinking like how jarring it must be for people in the UK to play games here that you're driving on the right side of the road.
Yeah.
Like all the Grand Theft Autos and stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah. But they all get used to it. It's like I just thought about that. It's like, the opposite, where if they're playing GTA or Forza or like all these like open world some driving games that are all like right side driving.
Yeah, I've never thought about that before.
Driving on the right side of the road, and it's but that's interesting.
It was really funny. I was driving. I was like, why am I really sucking at the driving? I was like, oh, because I'm on the wrong side of the road every time.
Wrong side of the road.
This makes more sense. So do you guys have any questions? Because I want to kind of have a dialogue about Watch Dogs Legion. Because I think it's an interesting thing.
I got a couple. Is this the worst game you played all year?
Worst game? No. But I think it's the worst big game I've played all year. Like where I had expectations.
Okay, worst AAA you played all year.
Because I guess my history with Watch Dogs is the first Watch Dogs I found kind of boring but interesting. Like I thought the story itself was kind of bland, but everything you could do with the hacking was really fun and like pretty novel. I thought the second one had a really entertaining, engaging story. that use like drone mechanics in a fun way. Like I never attacked anybody in the second game, and I actually really enjoyed it. Like I always droned, and it was really fun. I think this game really focused on the. Sorry, my camera went out of focus.
Speaking of focus.
Yeah, right. I think this game really tried to focus on like using anybody, and in that regard, it weakened it like a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard tell that there is a permadeath mode.
I've been using permadeath mode.
Yeah, there's a permadeath mode, and there are difficulty options, and that maybe this would have been a better experience if there were some real stakes.
Mm-hmm.
If losing people was like a real problem.
Yeah.
But there's an easy way to turn it off, and once it's off, it's just next to meaningless.
Yeah, I kept permadeath on because I thought that would be kind of a fun challenge. And in my time, I lost 2 people. One guy I accidentally drove into like a pipe that blew up, and I was like, all right, I guess I lost. Like I just unlocked he was a specialty character, hopped in a car, started driving, and blew up, and I was like, well, that happens. But yeah, I turned on permadeath, and like I didn't feel like the stakes were ratcheted up. I was like, it'd be very easy to never lose somebody in this game.
Yeah.
And there is a limit to how many people you can have on your team. It's like 40 something, I think. I mean, I don't know why the hell you'd need 40 people on your team. But yeah, like I said, I think the characters are just kind of bland. Like why would I pick these people?
The concept sounds cool of you running not a person in an open world, but an organization in an open world. Sounds rad. And maybe if like some characters just couldn't drive, or some characters couldn't use drones, but the fact that everybody is allowed to kind of do everything.
Well, and the thing that I always thought too was like kind of weird while I was playing is, do you guys remember Assassin's Creed Brotherhood? Where you like linked up all your...
I know where you're getting
where you like had all your assassins that you built up, and then you would send them on like missions.
Yeah.
And like while I was playing this game, it's like, why am I not doing that with the people I'm unlocking? Like, why am I not like relegating them to go like mess up the London Tower? I was gonna say Big Ben, but I don't think they'd do that. But like, why am I not sending people to like go mess up Big Old Ben? You know what I'm saying?
Big Ben.
Yeah, we're taking down the London Eye today, huh? I don't know why they're from New York, but they are.
The hit Tony.
Tony.
New Yorkers in London.
Yeah, that's the game. Hey Tony, go over to the London Eye, tell them what's up. So I think that's kind of a weird thing is they just didn't know. They had a great idea of like you can play as anybody, but they didn't know what to do with it, and it's really stretched by like this game's an open world because it has to be, but there's not really a point. Driving through it is so boring. It's just like, because I have no attachment to London.
London's boring, that's fine.
And maybe it is kind of like a city that just kind of looks pretty similar. Like San Francisco has interesting architecture everywhere and like hills and everything. And for me, London's just kind of another city.
Where did the first game take place?
Chicago. And the city was kind of boring too.
Yeah.
Was it real Chicago or just fake video game Chicago?
It was pretty real Chicago. That was like, remember the big thing with Watch Dogs? Like we're making it almost 1-for-1.
First Watch Dogs was pretty...
So it's just an interesting kind of blandness that bland and then technical issues that like really screw
the technical
up.
issue has that's those kind of issues should not exist like nowadays, and it's crazy that there's so many that you're dealing with at a release, like, and why they had so much time. How much time do you think they push it off to the original? Well,
and what I think is interesting about them putting this game right like less than 2 weeks before Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like their other open world game. Well, I'm not nervous about Valhalla because it's a very different dev team that's in charge of it. And they made Odyssey, which is like an amazing RPG.
Yeah, that's their flagship as well.
Yeah, like they're not going to fuck it up. But I think it's kind of, for other people, maybe that aren't like us that are in tune, like that would be a big red flag of getting this game. And you're like, I like the other ones and I like Assassin's Creed and it's Ubisoft. And you get this like, oh, okay. Am I really going to get the next Assassin's Creed? Is it more of the same? I think that's a risky move on their part. But I would not recommend this game at all. Like it is by far the biggest, worst game of the year, if that makes sense.
Then I'll stay away.
Yeah. There's nothing really to it.
I have one more question. The marketplace. Have you looked at the marketplace like for buying stuff or? Yeah,
it's pretty similar to other Ubisoft marketplaces of like buying skins for your characters, or I haven't seen XP boosts or tech boosts, but maybe they're in there and I haven't looked hard enough.
Mainly cosmetic.
It's just like an in-game store.
There's no leveling system for your characters. There's just, you find like tech points and you can allocate them to like different abilities for everybody.
It's for everybody. It's not per character.
Which I think is kind of sucky too. Like it'd be kind of cool if they all had skill trees and then if you lost somebody, that's like important. Like I invested so much in, Johnny Tsunami over here and he died and crap. Like I think that's like a big misstep too. It just feels very like lazy. They had an idea and they were just like, We don't know what to do with it.
It felt like they had a cool idea and then played it safe at every turn.
Yeah.
And here we are with just a open world generic game with no personality.
Yeah. And maybe like I'm saying, like maybe in 8 story missions, something really crazy happens and it gets insane, but like it doesn't feel like it's ever going to. The whole city's open from the start, so there's nothing like I'm looking forward to doing. And the missions aren't fun. We're like, I keep comparing it to Valhalla because I'm very excited for that. But like, I know these missions are going to be interesting, and the combat in Assassin's Creed is fun, and it's fun to build my character and really hit the role playing elements that Assassin's Creed is now. We're like, this isn't a role playing game. It's like you said, a team management game where none of the players do anything fun.
Yeah,
you know, it's like if everyone was just
the very bare bones of a concept game.
It's like if you played Madden and all your players are the offensive line. It's like there's nothing to do here.
It's unfortunate, but oh man.
Yeah, so I am disappointed.
It's a cool idea. It sounds like they whiffed it.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious if this is the nail in the Watch Dogs coffin. And how much this sells. Because Watch Dogs 2 was fun, but nobody bought it.
Yeah.
Because the first game was kind of bland.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, are we doing something different here? I also think it's a mistake there's not one protagonist. I think that while the idea is cool, that takes a lot out of the game.
Or, I mean, make the protagonist something else. Make a really good villain. Make villains kind of the big thing, or just the organization as a whole, make that more interesting, and just leave individual protagonists behind. But they don't even do that. Yeah,
like there is a villain, but he's not interesting. He's just a mean British dude. Like,
yeah.
And maybe I'm missing something with this story, and I haven't played, I've played 5 or 6 story missions somewhere around there. It's like maybe I'm really missing something, but I don't feel like I am. And I'm not compelled to go to a story mission because none of them have been fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where my Watchdog Legion's thoughts are, but I would not recommend it. It is a no buy from me. It is a 5 out of 10. Like it's
5 out of 10.
Something like that. I really think it is, especially with the technical
now that you mentioned it, I can't believe they released it 2 weeks before their other flagship open world. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Also, the loading times in this game suck, and every time you switch a character, which you do a lot, it has to reload. And I'm playing on a PS4 Pro, so I think like that with the next gen will be better because of loading times, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
That's still. I mean, if you're gonna make a game about multiple characters, try and keep that in mind. Yeah.
So any final thoughts, questions on Watch Dogs Legion? I know I'm the only one that have played it, but if you have any last tidbits.
No, I guess just it seems like with these games, like you can do one element really well, but if the other elements don't like come up to par, it's just gonna like suck.
Yeah,
which is hard. So it's like everyone has to come to the table. So it looks like the team who had the idea like of switching to anyone, like playing as anyone, versus the story team or like all that. It's just
didn't come together.
It kind of reminds me of what Dying Light 2 went through, where it's like they had no idea what the hell they were doing, and like by the time they had like the game didn't make sense.
It's not that game's just dead, right?
That game's dead in the water. They have to rebuild it probably, or like.
Has it really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they pulled it and they've never talked about it since.
They got to the ending and they're like, wait a second, this doesn't work.
So speaking of, we're gonna talk about next gen for a minute. We got some time. Mm-hmm. Next gen, we're on the verge of next generation.
It's here.
It is here. People have it.
It's waiting in Carlsbad, right?
My next generation experience is waiting at a FedEx and won't be here till Tuesday.
Yes.
How exciting for me. Are you guys excited for next gen? I know primarily you guys are PC gamers.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on next gen? What are you looking forward to? And
I'm a phone gamer.
And you're a phone gamer. We're gonna talk about the phone
mobile
gamer a little bit. But what are some of your thoughts? And I'm gonna kind of throw some stuff out at you guys. But I'm obviously very excited for it, and I'm gonna get both consoles. So,
Ted,
Ted, what do you think?
I'm very curious. I'll put it that way. Obviously, this is the next step up, but consoles are strange. We live in a world where the PC will always be the best, and that's just a weird, just the fact that different tech companies put out different PC items that just keep it at the front of the line every time. There's nothing really like, explosive about a new console necessarily, which is why they have to get creative. It's why they're focusing now. They're advertising their load times, right?
Yeah.
And they're advertising Game Pass because they can't just say we have good graphics.
This is an Xbox. And it's not going to. The graphical jump is not crazy from PS4 to PS5. Like it's not going to be this like ray tracing will be there.
It's the little it's the technical things that they're going to have to really refine, which I'm excited for. If you told me, hey, you can play video games with no load times in this box here, do you want to buy it? I'd be like, that's kind of cool.
Have you seen the videos of Miles Morales Spider-Man booting up?
I have, yeah.
It's insane. They click on the menu and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's already swinging through the city. You're like, holy shit.
That kind of thing is really cool. I didn't know I needed that in my life.
Right.
But now that it's here, it's like, oh yeah, no load times does sound really neat. So I'm generally excited for that. Those like small incremental boosts in the tech world. I think that's going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what console I want. I've backed out of the Xbox team.
You were gung-ho, like, this is the one. Yeah,
I totally was. But honestly, and this is a dumb reason, but the UI, the user experience is the exact same.
Yeah.
They're just making Xbox dashboard the same.
Mm-hmm.
From S to X to Series
X1
X?
to Series X,
Yeah, 1X to Series X.
I was going to say the naming is not great because it's the Xbox One and the Xbox One S and the Series X and the Series S.
6 months to a year from now, it's not going to matter. But right now, very confusing. Yeah. And just knowing that it's going to be just the same, just a little bit faster is kind of like, nah. I was kind of hoping to really revolutionize my TV's UI experience, which it's not. I'm playing a lot of third-person action games, which is what Sony is pumping out.
Yep.
That's what I like to hear, Ted.
They're fun to just sit down on the couch with a group and just watch.
Yeah. As someone that didn't have an Xbox One at all this generation, I'm excited to go back and play some of those games I missed, and excited for Game Pass like on it. Like I think we were talking before the show started, but this is gonna be my game the pre-show. Tune in on Twitch.tv. No, I'm just kidding. On our little pre-show where we just kind of were chit-chatting, I'm very excited about like Game Pass on my TV and that ease, and that's gonna be nice. And like, when Halo comes out, I want to talk about that in a minute. When Halo comes out, I get to play Halo, and that's cool. I haven't, and as a person that can do that in my life, that feels great. But the PS5 is the one I'm looking forward to. Of like, showtime, baby.
Yeah, the controller is knocking people's socks off, which I was not expecting.
The haptic feedback apparently is really good.
To chalk HD rumble haptic feedback trigger bullshit to just
people are saying it's like the future.
But people are really enjoying it so far. So that's really cool. I hope that gets utilized a lot. I hope we start seeing more smaller incremental gains in controller mechanics. Right? If we could make, tension, what is it? I don't know what it's actually called, but the tension in controllers. Is that haptic feedback? If we can make that more of a standard, that sounds awesome. If Xbox starts selling a controller, an elite controller, and a cinematic experience controller, I'm in. Like, get me one of those. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think definitely if you're into that third-person action experience right now, Sony is the clear front runner, but they don't have Game Pass, so all their games are going to cost you $70.
Yeah,
but you're gonna get premier level games rather than a bunch of. I mean, not that Xbox games are bad, but that kind of there's a lower tier where like Xbox first parties are. Like I think Gears 5 is probably their best one that's come out in a while.
Yeah,
that we've played.
Gears 5 is great,
and it's really great.
Just you wait for Microsoft's Xbox's Elder Scrolls 6.
We'll see. Yeah, that's
Fallout
gonna be interesting.
5.
Can't wait for those things. But I do think like there's a noticeable step down from God of War Last of Us Part 2 to Gears 5. So I think there's an interesting thing. But James, what about you? What are your thoughts?
100% PS5. Yeah. I'm not getting an Xbox, but I'm not getting a PS5 right away. I'm kind of waiting for more exclusives because this is where Xbox shines at release date. Since you have Game Pass, you can play a lot of games.
Yeah.
PS5, you can play a lot of your PS4 games, which is great.
And a lot of them for free on PS5.
There's not a lot of exclusives.
Not all of them. Not any of the ones that I bought, apparently.
Really? It's like 90%.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot more now. They've announced a lot more.
Yeah.
It's not just 100.
It was like 90% of their library or something like that. But anyways, like to me, it's like I mean, I'm fine just still playing with my PS4 if I'm just playing PS4 games. I'm not really interested in like Demon Souls or anything like that right away. Yeah. So I'm gonna wait until more of the exclusives I am looking forward to come out, and
next year's gonna be a good PlayStation.
Yeah, I was thinking I might wait until the PS5 Slim comes out, or just give it a minute, give it some time, figure out some kinks.
Yeah.
I'm not here for release day anymore, and I don't know why necessarily. I'm just kind of cooling my jets for a second.
I'm glad you're on a gaming podcast where you're not here for release dates. Yeah.
Damn.
Shots fired.
FedEx and I both not here for release dates.
No.
Shots. Xbox?
Yeah, I think I'm probably the most excited for next gen just because I am a console gamer over PC. If I could play a game on my TV out on the couch, I would do it any day over something on my PC. I'm very excited for PS5, but it's the first time I don't desperately need it Thursday when it comes out. Like, I don't have a pre-order. I didn't get it. If I could have gotten one, I'd be ecstatic, but I'm not like crazy for it. I'm going to be looking for it, but it's not like with the Switch with Breath of the Wild. I was like, I have to find a fucking Switch. Ted knows I lived with Ted during that time. And I was crazy for it. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see all of these additions, and I'm excited to see how services line up, like Game Pass. Sony's going to be working on something similar. They've already got the PlayStation backlog, all the PS4 games that are free if you have PS Plus on your PS5, which is huge. It's some of the best games of all time. So that's big, but then to see where they go from there with like a PS Now kind of system or something.
I think the world they have to get a Game Pass, and we might see games fought over in that.
It'll be like Amazon, Netflix
service space. That might just be where we're at, where it's like, oh, Jahir Left 4 Dead is, or that's not a bad example, but X game is switching from Xbox to PS5, and you're like, well, I gotta get both now.
And I think I know
Hulu, you know.
I don't think you'll ever see The Last of Us Part 3 launch on a subscription service. Like not for a long time. That's movie theater level stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe they make games for it as well, like a Ratchet and Clank or something like that, but not their premiere.
Cool if they
did both.
Looped in an indie development thing into a subscription. Sure, because indie games
was great.
Yeah. One of the funnest things to do is just play like 5 minutes of an indie game and then move on to the next 5 minutes of an indie game. Like,
yeah, and that was what PS4's launch was built on, was indie games. I mean, it was all Resogun and weird stuff like that. Now, before we can get there, though, to next gen, let's talk about what we've been playing. I know James and I probably haven't been playing much, but Ted, you've been playing some stuff I want to talk about. So, what have you been playing?
What did I say I was playing? I forgot.
You're terrible.
We'll go get into the big one first. I started playing 2019's Star Wars Jedi Tomb Raider.
2019 Side Escapes Game of the Year.
Yeah. Jedi Tomb Raider.
But
it's a great.
To be fair, that game's that game of the year. Oh my god, that list was
not. It was not a great one. It would not be there this year.
We struggled.
Yeah. That game's cool.
Yeah. How far are you in it? Roughly, like hour-wise or
hour count? I am 10 hours. Okay. Story-wise, where am I? I have returned to the planet Zepho, and I just beat that.
Yep.
So the second time around.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that game's fucking good.
Yeah, it's so really good. It's a really good game.
I wasn't expecting charm, personality, fantastic video capture, facial capture.
How great is Grizz? Greasy money, baby. I love
it. It's about time we had something like this. Yeah. Like when you first start the game, it's like you're just pulled right away to the character.
Well, I read a tweet, spoilers, that said like the first 30 seconds of the game make it the best Star Wars game because it's not a scrolling Star Wars text. It's just some weird alien song and
it's like weird alien rap. Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful game too.
So it's cool. The one thing I wanted to bring to the table here, because I thought it'd be interesting. That game is made by Respawn Entertainment, developers of
Apex,
Titanfall, and Apex. Very movement-based shooters. They like their movement puzzles and their jumping on walls and stuff like that. And the game they made here with Jedi is a Dark Souls clone, a Souls-like, right?
Souls-like,
it's a Souls-like, which there's a bunch of Souls-likes.
But I got to the kind of second-ish area where you can just chill and explore.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't remember what I was doing, but I was walking and I was like, this combat's kind of like very deliberate, very dodgy, and then I walked past a thing and a guy jumped out at me and I was like, this is a Dark Soul. There's a trap. There's a trap right there. This is a Dark Soul. And then I found the respawn.
It's a Metroidvania Dark Souls game,
so they just made a Dark Souls with their movement stuff, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But the movement is way better. I'd say it's like Dark Souls combat, but movement just flows and you're dodging and breaking. It's great.
So I think that the Dark Souls aspect of it kind of starts to fall apart. I think the boss fights are actually pretty weak.
I would agree with that for the most part, except for I think sword to sword combat is great. I think when you fight the big monsters, it's a little
monsters suck.
Cumbersome.
But when you're actually fighting together, like
a lot of the bosses seem to be more or less optional. There are ways to kind of get around all of them.
Yeah,
which is good. The combat is really fun and neat until you get to these boss battles where the game breaks a couple cardinal rules about boss battling. The way I would kind of explain it is like when a boss triggers and does an attack, you're expected that it'll do the thing in the direction of the thing, and you can dodge it and counterattack and do the things.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars, every single attack that I've come across follows you. Like I can just completely roll out of the way, and then I'll watch them zip over and like kind of auto aim. It's really annoying.
It's if you do it like too soon. Yeah.
Dark Souls is predicated, especially in the beginning,
on frames.
It's very deliberate.
Oh, you're right.
Very directional, and this does not follow that at all. You have to be perfect at the very beginning.
So yes and no. I think Bloodborne, this is pretty similar to Bloodborne combat of like, I just played Bloodborne earlier this year, and it's a game where if you jump too early or too late, like you're going to get hit. You have to nail it just like, and I think Jedi Fallen Order tries to do that as well, but it's not made by FromSoft.
Yeah, I think they missed the mark on that. And they also do another thing where there's no stun animations on bosses. Mm-hmm. So if you get that moment to attack and you start your 3-part, tap X 3 times and do a 3-part combo, the boss just stands up in it and then it hits you back, and you're like, I thought we were playing by the rules here.
Oh, I remember that.
You'll like when you start fighting like actual swordsmen.
Yeah,
because those boss battles are way better.
That being said, the actual levels and the tomb raiding part,
awesome.
It's fantastic, and I was blown away by. I am someone who is eternally bored by Star Wars, and this put a lot of new life into it.
It hurt a little bit.
And Mandalorian's great. We can talk about it.
Oh yeah, if you like The Mandalorian, go check out our new show, Just Jake Beyond, and I'm talking about The Mandalorian every episode.
Yeah, great show.
Great show.
Anyway, but yeah, no, it's fantastic. So the question I had for you guys, if you were a unrelated archaeologist, video games archaeologist, going back to try and figure out the 2019-ish era, do you play Star Wars?
Okay.
Or do you play Dark Souls? One clearly based on the other. Do you go back and play the original that started it all, quote unquote, or do you go play the refined, mass market, easy for everybody option?
The original is pretty unforgiving, I'd say. It's just really dated.
Dark Souls sucks. It's really hard, and it does not give you anything.
No, I would play Star Wars.
I would play Star Wars if you're looking at 2019 as a year of like, we don't want to look at the best games from
maybe
2019.
The 20-teens as a decade.
I think you play Dark Souls. I think you go back and you play the original, or you play Bloodborne, which is the more refined, faster version of Dark Souls.
Probably,
yeah. I think Jedi Fallen Order is a great game. You're going to really enjoy it. There's a lot of great Star Wars moments that have not been in the Disney Star Wars era that you're going to fucking love. There's hype moments. There's a terrifying moment later in the game.
Yep.
You'll love it.
It's good stuff.
No, yeah.
They're continuing, which is great because there's so much more.
I had a thought this morning as I woke up. They will make a sequel to this.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's a really good game. I think it's legitimately one of the best Star Wars games out there. It does the franchise right in so many good ways. They will make a sequel. Is that sequel going to be another Jedi game?
Yes.
Are you going to be playing as another Jedi?
You're going to be playing,
because I want to customize a blaster.
No, I don't think you will. I think you'll be playing as a Jedi.
You think it'll be the same?
It'll be called Star Wars Jedi Fallen something. Star Wars Jedi Fallen something.
It won't be like Star Wars smuggling.
No, they were already tried to make that game and they got canceled. That was apparently the
I want to customize a blaster.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, there are other things in the Star Wars world I want to customize.
That was the motive game, Ragtag or whatever it was supposed to be.
Is that 1313?
No, well that too. That was the Boba Fett game.
Yeah.
I think you'll really enjoy Fallen Order and you'll like where it goes and be excited about what's next.
Good.
I think the character of Cal Kestis is a just fantastic Star Wars character.
I had to look up that actor. He's a fantastic
he's
personality.
He's in some interesting stuff. He's in Gotham.
He's in Gotham?
Yeah, he plays the Joker.
He won awards for being, I think he's the Joker or something like that.
Yeah, he's pretty good in it.
Yeah, he won an award for that.
Yeah. So I really recommend it. If you haven't played Fallen Order, it's probably pretty cheap now too. Or it'll be on
I was able to pick it up for $15 before I was told it'd be free on Game Pass.
So it always happens.
I got a Fortnite costume, so I think it's okay.
That's still a good price. I basically paid $10 for it. So
yeah.
It's even worth. When did it release at 40?
No, it was
60. It was a full price.
It's 60.
I think it's totally worth a $60 game. That being said, that game on PC was instrumentally better than on PS4 when I played it.
I remember you told
James and I had our little review, and it would every so often like freeze or crash, like not load, because it wasn't optimized for PlayStation. They fixed it now, but back then like it was.
Yeah, I only had like one time.
Yeah,
like anything went wrong.
Also the Metroidvania stuff's really cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes,
that part's neat. The color coded it. I didn't know I needed it until the color coded stuff started showing up. Of like, oh, I don't need to go here yet. Can't unlock it. Let's wander somewhere else.
How great is the lightsaber customization as well? It's so fun.
Good.
It's so fun.
I love it.
The first time I found it, I was like, all right, whatever. I don't really.
And
now I'm just like, all right, if I make it Durasteel,
yeah.
This one.
I want it to look wooden.
I fell into that one.
Yeah, me too.
But no, it I'm always about games that respect your time, and the Metroidvania aspect of it is a very like, this is what you need to know, this is what you don't need to care about. Just do the things in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Really quickly. The other thing I've been playing, I tried Risk of Rain 2.
Yay!
I sat down at my roommate's computer and
Risk of Rain 2 is great.
That game is weirdly addictive.
Oh, it's very addictive. It's basically
I don't know what it is.
It's a roguelike.
It's a roguelike. You
but
spawn
it's per run.
It's
not like you have save status. It's a per run roguelike.
It's a third-person shooter in which you are dropped into a level, and enemies spawn around you, kind of, and you run around, you shoot them. There's no reloading, no ammo. You just gun them down. You find loot that affects.
That's just with one character. You're just using one character. Not all the characters shoot, but yeah.
You attack.
Yeah, attack.
And you find loot, and then you are looking for the door to the next level.
Teleporter.
A teleporter, yeah. And when you find it, you summon a boss, and this is a co-op-ish game. So imagine you're
4-player co-op.
People. Yeah. You summon a boss, you defeat the boss, and then you move on to the next level. That's the loop. And when you die, you're dead, and all of that loot that you've acquired in the run goes away.
Okay.
But so you basically get items. So you're killing boss to get money to buy items from these little like chests all over the map, and you're just trying to get as many items as you can until you basically become broken. Like you just become so good. Like you have all these items like increase attack speed, apply like burn damage, make you fly. Like there's really great combos too. So it's more Binding of Isaac-ish in terms of that.
There's a lot of synergies. I wasn't sold on this initial pitch because I was like, oh, it seems a little bland. But as soon as you get in there, it does that thing that Hades does really well, where it doesn't feel like this run sucks because of RNG. It feels like every item you get is building you up. You're like, okay, now I can do this. And so you just feel more and more empowered as it goes on. Yeah. And the enemies get tougher and tougher the longer the whole run goes. So if you spend too long in level 1, level 2 is going to be a lot harder.
Oh, okay.
They'll get really strong.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so and especially with 4 people, it becomes this mad dash of like, okay, I think I'm going to become the boss killing character with my items. So if we can find certain items to give to me. What's that?
It's co-op. Yeah, it's 4-player co-op.
4-player co-op.
Yeah.
So you're doing this with a team. So you're building out roles as you play the game. Everybody starts more or less the same, but then you build out who's going to do what as the game goes.
That's the selling point. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very cool kind of co-op experience.
Yeah.
I was into it. Plus the music is fantastic.
The music's great.
Did it come out this year?
Yeah, it came out this year.
It's early access, baby.
Okay.
It came
a lot of good early access games came out this year.
Yeah, for a game that I was not initially sold on, it's a lot of fun. I recommend it. It's just like a fun jaunt with your friends.
Okay. That's a game I'll have to look into. That's fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
I'll have to play it sometime. We definitely need games to play as a group. That's cool.
That's one of those games.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. Great Game Pass game.
Is it on Game Pass?
Great. Oh, it's a Game Pass?
No, it's not.
I was like, damn, that's a good week.
It's one of those, like, not a lot to know going in. A lot of fun with your friends. Just install it and go. It's perfect for that kind of subscription setup.
Very cool.
Man.
Maybe once it's out of early access, it'll be there.
Oh, it is. It's released.
Oh, it's fully released now. Okay.
I bet you it'll be one of those titles that's fought over by a subscription service.
Yeah, that's dope. Is it expensive or is it like $20?
$20?
$20. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, there you go. That's what that's what Ten's been playing because none of us have really been playing anything else.
Yeah.
Next week we'll have an exciting episode of Assassin's Creed Valhalla Impressions Series X, and then maybe James will play something and he'll talk about it. We don't know, but we will.
Does Valhalla come out on the 10th?
Yes, it comes out launch day of the consoles. So 10th or 12th? What's the day today?
Today's the 7th.
It comes out the 10th.
Cool.
Thank you. Perfect.
It's how math works. Thank you guys so much for watching the 35th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. We're coming up on our year anniversary, which is pretty exciting.
I was going to ask you. I was like, isn't the anniversary coming up?
It's pretty close. I think it's like mid-November, so we'll have to do something for a year of podcasting.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
I've been here a whole year.
Yeah, Ted's been here at least 3 episodes.
You guys the entire time. Day 1, that's what I say.
Before we end the show, I like that our intro still is just James and I, and we're never going to change it. It's just always going to be James and I, and maybe we'll write in Ted's name. I just think it's really funny. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment. Please tell your mother. And as always, we will see you next week.